Alright, we're going to start taking a look at a few of the comic packs that I have. And I'll start off with one of my favorite ones. It's the Pterosaur and Tholme comic pack from the Legacy collection. It's one of the last ones released, along with Exarchun and Ulik, which we'll get a review eventually, and the extremely rare Kashyyyk Clone Commander and the Kashyyyk Trooper. And I believe I found this pack for a really good deal in February of 2018 on eBay, and it's one I always wanted, and I'm glad I have it. Today it's one of the probably some of the rarest Star Wars action figures that you can collect. If you can find it for a good price, definitely jump on that. And I don't have the package on hand, but what I do have is the name pill. I also have the comic as well. It's a good image of Pterosaur there. And for those of you that don't know, they're both from the Clone Wars era. And I believe Pterosaur is also in the Star Wars Legacy comics as well with Dark Crate. I think she comes back as a ghost. And Tholme, I'm not too sure about his backstory anymore. I know his canon has been changed a couple times. I think in the original expanded universe he survived past Order 66, but in the Clone Wars I think he was killed, or vice versa. I would have to go back and take a look at it. And there's that. Here's the comic. I've never read the Star Wars Republic comic series. This is just, with these comic packs, they only released a small excerpt of the overall story. It's comic 65, or part 65 of it. It's a really good image there. And I really wish Hasbro would bring back the comic series again. It was a good way to get a lot of expanding universe characters in the line. It's nice going back seeing some of these advertisements. That comic pack will also get a review eventually. Same with the Infinities one down there with the Vader and Leia. And I really wish we can get the Build-A-Droid line again. But from what I have read of the Star Wars Republic comics so far, it seems pretty good. Hopefully someday I'll sit down and read the entire series. It's Ayla and Tholme. Pterosaur there. Good advertising of all the main Jedi. There's Barriss and Luminara there. Lots of really good scenes here. Yeah, that's the comic. Now for the figures. And these are definitely some of my favorite action figures from the comic pack line. Pterosaur, I think, is one of the most unique Jedi to date. In fact, we'll take a look at her first. And she reminds me of a siren. Lots of good detail on her. And from my understanding, this isn't actually hair. Kind of reminds me of Medusa a little bit too. And she's a very well made action figure as well. It's a very hard plastic where it doesn't feel fragile like it's going to break. And that's really nice. It's hard to get Star Wars action figures that don't feel like the joints are going to snap as soon as you bend them. And her one only accessory is her lightsaber there, which from my understanding she made her lightsaber out of wood. And you can see some detail of how that might be. I always thought that was an interesting detail. Of course, her articulation's fantastic. It's the ball jointed head and the hinged shoulders, elbows, and the swivel wrist, swivel waist, and then the swivel hips, and the hinged knees and ankles. So lots of green detailing on her. And she holds her lightsaber extremely well. Of course, if I recall reading correctly, if it is made of wood, that detail is noted there as well. She has really good detailing on her eyes. Doesn't really have a nose. Almost looks like she has eyebrows, but it might not be. Greenish eyes. Almost looks like she has slanted pupils a little bit. So there's Pterosaur, and the next is Tholme, which if I recall reading correctly, they were both a couple during the Clone Wars. And he's a really interesting Jedi as well. Definitely looks like he's seen a lot of combat. And for his accessories, of course, he has his lightsaber, which holds it kind of loose. He only has the one hand that he can hold it in because the other one's sculpted to either hold his cane or act like he's using the Force. And I think, yep, the lightsaber blade comes out. Haven't seen that in many years. And it's a basic sculpt for the lightsaber. He also comes with a cane. which has a lot of good detail on it. And you can get it where it seems like he's holding it really well. If you work with it a little bit. A scar over his left eye there. I believe he has a robotic leg as well. Soft good skirt there. And of course his articulation is top notch. It's the ball jointed head and the hinged shoulders, elbows, swivel wrist and swivel waist, and then swivel hips, and then the hinged knees and ankles. So they're both super articulated action figures. They're some of the best at the time. And I think the reason why these are so hard to get is because there just wasn't a large production of them. Since it was towards the end of the comic pack line, they just basically canceled it. I think if I recall reading correctly, people did find these at retail. At the time I never saw them. I don't think I've ever seen the XR pack or this one or the Routine Valor or the Cashy Clones pack in retail at all. And to think that these were $9.99 at the time. Let's see here. So yeah, that's Pterosaur and Tholme. Definitely would recommend getting them if you're able to find them for a good price at least. Great to add some variety Jedi into your collection if you collect Jedi, and keep an eye out for the next comic pack, and thanks for watching.